Hi guys, today we're going to install the RamAir cold air intake into my Golf 7.5 1.6 liter TDI. So this is everything that came in the box as ordered online. All the tools are here, all the parts are here. You get yourself a neat little installation guide with this. This is also what we're going to follow today, and what you will need for this installation, it's really pretty easy. It's just a screwdriver, an Allen key and a sharp knife. For the rest, you won't need anything else, just your hands, probably a friend to help you out, and we can go ahead with the installation. So the first thing we're going to do is assemble the entire kit, and then we're going to install it within the engine bay. So the first step we have for the kit is to install the first bracket onto the heat shield. So you'll take your two pieces, you take your heat shield, and the first two bolts you will be looking for are underneath. You put the shield on it like this, and it will just be plug and play like Legos. The two holes up there will align the two holes underneath, and you need to bolt this with the small little screws supplied. So you have 9 small ones and 2 big ones. It's the small ones that you need to use. So we will need 4 bolts for this with 4 of these washers. We started with the first 2 bolts under here. So what you do is you take a washer, you then put your bolt inside of it, and it's bolted in from the inside. So the end of the bolt comes out here, and it's actually very flush and flat. So it makes kind of sense to do it like this. So we did the 2 first ones, and now we're going to do the 2 ones up here. The second step in the kit assembly is to take these rubber feet. You have 3. I already installed 1, and you need to put them into the 3 assigned holes. 1, 2, 3. You can't miss them. There's 1 right here, and then 2 in the bracket you just installed. I just did 1. Let me tell you, you need to apply a lot of force. It's kind of cold right now, so metal maybe is a bit more tight right now in these temperatures, but really you need to apply a lot of force, but be aware to not fold your metal by applying too much pressure. So just take these, put them in like this, and push hard to get them in. The next step we have is installing the second bracket that was delivered also onto the heat shield. So you just take it, there's no way of doing this wrong. You align the holes down here, you put it like this, and again you use the same bolts as before. We use 3 of these with 3 washers, and we bolt from the inside. Now that we bolted them from the inside, again with the washer and the bolts flush on the other side, we can go ahead with the next step, which is installing the edge trim that we have right here as shown here. So this is what we'll be going to do right now. So it's pretty straightforward, as it just has an edge where it needs to go into, and what's left over should be cut. So we have also prepared a small cutting knife to do this. So we have installed the first part, and we have some leftovers. So right now we'll just pull it out and, like right here, cut it just with scissors. We had cut off at this corner, and we installed the next piece going from here. And on the image we can see that it goes into this corner. So we did this. It's kind of crooked. You can see that it bulges on both sides. But when you cut here and you push really down, it seems to stay in place. So we'll leave it like this right now. We can feel metal pieces inside that are now bent and don't move anymore. So we'll proceed now with installing the final part, which is within here. Here you go, we installed the final part. We cut it maybe slightly too short at the end, but that will be fine. And the key is really to put your hand like this and really push it down like that, and it will create bulges by itself. And there you go, all the seals, edge trims are now installed. We are now at the last step of the preparation of the kit, which is to take your cone and your hose and to put both together. But you will need for this extra, I don't know how it's called, ply or something to tighten it. There's only 1 of the 3 that are supplied that fit onto it, because if we try another one, it doesn't go onto it. And we checked, it's written on it that these are different sizes. Here you have 80-100. Here you have 70-100, so you can only take 1. So you take your cone, then you slide it inside. Normally it will stop by itself as there is a small edge inside. And then you take this and you tighten it. We have now installed the cone onto the hose. We have also really tightened the only bracket we were able to use. And for now, the kit is then officially assembled. So we'll go over to the removal of the OEM intake. The first step we have in the removal of the OEM intake is to remove the vacuum line from the top of the airbox. It's situated right here, and what you need to do is pull on it to remove it. The next step is to remove the MAF sensor plug, which is located right here. So first of all, you will need to pull back that little gray pin like this. And then you have a pin up on it. You need to press down on it to then securely remove the plug. The next step now is to remove the intake hose from the airbox. What you'll need for this are tweezers, and you have this clamp right here that you will need to clamp and really push on it to untighten it. This is really difficult to do alone. I would recommend to do with two people, one unclamping and the other one pulling on the hose to remove one from the other. So we won't be able to record this right now, so we'll record again once we're done with this step. We've just finished with untightening this, and really you just push with your hand until it comes off, and then we're done with this step. And then the final step to remove the airbox right now is normally to really just take it out. It's held by some small rubber feet like the ones we installed before onto the new kit, so it should be pretty straightforward. I'm quickly jumping from the editing booth just to tell you while you're looking at it that it's a bit sketchy to pull on it, but these are just rubber feet. There's not a lot that can go wrong with it, so you really need to just yank on it from several sides until one of the rubber feet come loose, and you will see in the next clip what I mean with this. To remove the airbox, you already were able to remove two, so you have three rubber feet. You have one right here, you have one down there, and one underneath that you can't see. So we just did two of them, and for the last one, yeah, you just need to pull, start it from the back, and it will remove. And there you go. You need to watch out with the final part, as this is connected, as you can see, to the air intake, but it is all fine. And here you can see, here's a rubber feet, here's a rubber feet, and here's the rubber feet. We have now successfully removed the airbox from the engine bay. The next step we have is to remove the MAF sensor housing from the airbox. So it is right now on here, and it is held in place by two bolts right here. So these are torx bolts that we need to remove to take off this part. So we were able to remove the MAF sensor. There was only one bolt, sorry for my mistake, and then it's held by this kind of ridge. So what you need to do is turn anti-clockwise to remove the MAF sensor, and it will come right off if you removed the first torx bolt. We are now going to the kit installation, and the first step is to take the sensor we just removed and insert it into the bracket of our heat shield, and then bolt it. The issue we have is that it's physically impossible to bolt, as the holes do not align, and there are not even holes into our brackets. There are none. So we're going to try this another way, and we think that we need to clamp it down later on. We'll just skip this step for now and go into inserting the hose and the filter through the large hole from the heat shield. We took our hose with the cone and put it inside a big hole. We have the MAF sensor that we slide it through from the other side, and we put this tube over it. And now all we need to do is clamp it down, and this is why we think that we won't need the bolts as told before. We decided in the end to do two brackets because we had one left over. This is not an obligation, as we see on the pictures, there's only one, but we don't know what to do with the one that's remained, so we'll just put for security two. We have now successfully mounted the two clamps. The next step, step 13, is really putting the airbox into the engine bay and pushing it down onto the rubber feet like we did with the old airbox. So this is what we're going to do now. We were now able to push gently onto the first one. There are two more rubber feet down here that we just need to push down. And it is now securely in place. So now that the new kit is on it, you can already align the back hose with the MAF sensor, and what you need to do is again clamp it down, push it in, and then it's reconnected. We have now reconnected the MIF sensor with the rest. So next step is to replug your sensor like this and put back the little pin. And then the last step is to put the vacuum hose. You have it's delivered with the kit that you need to put inside of it. So you can put it first onto your tube, really snug and fit. Really push it down. And then the last step is to put it inside of your kit. Really push it down snug. And there you go, installed. The installation is now complete. Everything should be installed correctly. And you can now enjoy your new RamAir filter. I will now play a video of the sound of this new filter. One more benefit I forgot to mention of installing this cold air intake is that you will hear the turbo flutter back through your cold air intake. I have assembled a few clips of this happening for you to take a look at and hear this turbo flutter that you will hear from inside your car.